Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect, and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my guest is Ibro Palik. He is the founder of Spokane SEO Services and director of SEO for Tether Industries. Ibro has a proven record of accomplishment in executing fundamental sound search marketing practices, including SEO, PPC, conversion rate optimization, and more to create sustained growth in website traffic, rankings on search engines, and revenue for major national brands and many local small to mid-sized businesses. Welcome to the show, Ibro Palik.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit, Ibro, about yourself and your background and how you got involved with SEO services and marketing.
So I got involved in internet marketing shortly after 2012. Prior to that, I was a recruiter, mostly working for technical positions at Amazon, Starbucks, various companies in Seattle. And looking back, that's sort of the first time I got into SEO, even though I didn't know I was doing it at that time. Because as a recruiter, you have to find millions of resumes so you can get the right clients in the right positions. And you have to do this quickly because other companies are competing against you. And so you can either go through LinkedIn, which is what 95% of recruiters do, and they just look through profiles all day. Or what I've discovered, looking back, were essentially power searches I was doing. In the recruiting world, it was called Boolean search strings, Boolean, however you pronounce it. And you would basically do a power search with a resume and title, and you would look for certain keywords. And that would pull up resumes from Monster, from all these different resume websites. And I was able to find the right people very quickly that way and close a lot of recruiting spots. So within my first 3 months there, I closed about 15 positions at Amazon, which really improved the revenue of the company back then. But I didn't really like the job. I got into it because I had an HR degree, and that's kind of what I was pursuing at that time. But to me, recruiting and staffing was likened to I just didn't get much out of it. You basically hire a person, they work for a company, and that's it. It's much more sales oriented than it was HR related.
Right.
And we've had some tough clients that required people at 3 a.m. to come in, and I was getting calls from my bosses at 2 a.m. to basically find people and call them. It was really stressful. So after about a year, I quit, and me and my wife got married. We took a trip to Europe, and that's where I saw these people basically having fun on laptops and working. And since there was a few that spoke English, we got to talking, and I figured out that they were making basically money from websites. They were building websites, putting advertisement on them, and generating good profit. So then when we moved back to the States, that's the first thing I did. I got right into website building. I got a job. I was pretty good at Excel, so I got a job at Sacred Heart, which is a hospital here. And I spent a good year just basically learning how to build websites while that kept paying my bills and whatnot. And that's where I've kind of discovered the talent that I've had. I was able to outrank Microsoft at that time for a resume website I had built, which gave me a lot of confidence. And then I started applying as an SEO, and I got a job at Inland Coffee at that time. I had outranked Seattle Best Coffee Gear. They were selling espresso machines. So I got them ranked for their main term, commercial espresso machines at that time. That was way back 2013, 2014, I think. And which gave me more confidence. And then I started applying, and there was Ted Industries was looking for an SEO, and I joined in 2014. And that just took a life of its own.
So what is Tedder Industries? What do they do? Are you still with that company right now?
Yeah, I'm still with the company. I love the job. I love the team. They produce gun holsters and concealed carry products. They also run gunbelts.com and aliengearholsters.com. And we've positioned them really well. And I got into recruiting initially to help people basically find a job. And through SEO, I realized that you can really help a lot of people get more jobs. We basically doubled and tripled as we took the SEO traffic from just a few thousand to now over 500,000. And we ended up buying the mall in Coeur d'Alene, which was pretty cool.
I mean, really, these small businesses are the backbone of the country. And if you're doing some great work to get SEO to their sites, and they're getting traffic and they're getting more business, you really are having a hand in hiring more people and putting them to work, just like you were in the recruiting business.
Yeah.
So where did Spokane SEO Services come in then?
So I just want to preface that you have to have a solid product and a good executive team. And SEO can help, but you really have to have a good product. You can't really fake that. And so SEO Services, after about 2 years working there, I decided to start a company because I just was looking for more experience to work on different types of industries, different types of websites. And initially it started off as just one referral asking me for help. And then that grew into another referral, and now we have a good client set. I've been about 3 years into it. If you type in Spokane SEO, we're number one for local, number one for organic. So the proof is there. So I don't really have to sell, which is really nice part.
Yeah, that is great. So people are coming to you because they see you as the authority in your area, because you are ranked number one in the map and the organic listings. So, obviously they want some of that knowledge that you have, but what major problems do you see these people having? And, what kind of businesses is it that come to you for help?
All kinds of businesses, everything from law to e-commerce to work boots, commercial machines. SEO really applies to anything. The main problem I see is that people are stuck in the old ways of doing things. It's easier to double down on a sales team versus invest in a PPC campaign. It's easier to send out a bunch of brochures to people instead of running a direct email marketing campaign. So the tactics have changed, but people still love to double down on the stuff that they know how to do, which is to their detriment because things have changed so much.
Right, and almost everybody goes to the internet first before they make a purchase, isn't that right?
That's right. 93% of purchase decisions, regardless of B2B or B2C, start on Google, which is, it's pretty intuitive. Everybody thinks Google is this magic box to their problems, to their shopping, to really anything. So even buyers, B2B, people who make purchases from our companies, they still have to start on Google to find the places. If you're looking for a service, you type it into Google. If you want to find a restaurant, you type it into Google. So that's the first place people start.
So what's the difference between maybe a local business, a law practice, or something that you might be working with? What issues do they have? Talk about that first, and I want to talk about the e-commerce after that.
Sure. So local businesses, they have a hard time, for example, engaging into a blog. Just having a blog on the website is a huge deal when it really shouldn't be. Um, so they're very hard to adapt these things, and yet they are very necessary for the success. Local businesses also, they're zip code dependent and service area dependent. So a search is triggered. Google looks at the zip code, your basically your geolocation, and then takes that into account along with other metrics. A lot of that is based on schema code, which is about 80% of websites don't use it. You have to have your keywords in the titles. It's just they rather have the marketing message be the big giant title instead of this is the problem we can solve for you.
So break that down for me. If it is a local company, what do they need to do as far as the on-page things that are a must that have to be there? What is schema, and how does it help?
Sure. So I'll give you a good example for one of my clients. They're a local restaurant in a pretty small town, and they have a huge section for gluten-free food. Yet nobody was going there and ordering the gluten-free stuff, because for Google to display your website for that kind of food, you have to have basically some text on the website that says gluten-free food or wheat-free. So what we did for that client is develop basically a separate menu on the site, and we said gluten-free options. We listed all the options. We put the link on the menu, and suddenly the website started showing up for gluten-free restaurant searches, and that brought in basically restaurant visitors, and business went up. But business owners don't always think of, for me to show up for this type of food, I need to have this type of page. They think, I'll just need a little website and that'll solve all my problems. And it's good to have a little website, but if you optimized for SEO, you could reach such a bigger and wider audience, which is paramount to long-term success for business. And they're losing out to people who know how to do this, and yet they rely on coupons, they rely on outdated methods to drive traffic to in-store visits or to a website.
So what exactly is schema markup? Because I know you said 80% of businesses don't use schema. What exactly is it, and why aren't they using it?
Schema is basically a markup code that tells Google this is where the website is located, the business is located. This is the type of service the business operates and the business category. So it gives Google a clear idea what the business is about, what services they offer. And because search has evolved so much, if you think about it, about a few years ago, nobody typed in food near me or restaurants near me. They typed in Italian restaurant, Spokane, Washington. So when you type in near me, the only way Google can understand that is if you have that schema code on your specific pages. And they have a free tool that can generate this, and we basically place it on the service pages and make sure Google reads the web pages, reindexes everything, and it pops it for right searches, basically.
It's interesting. As far as, say you are a divorce attorney, and somebody in Spokane is looking for a divorce attorney, but they don't necessarily want the one that's closest to them. They want the best. How does Google determine which results to show in that case?
So that's about national service areas, I suppose. Google will show you a map and a geo-targeting, but then below all that, they will show organic results for for websites that are just have gained an authority in that space. So Google operates much like a democracy in terms of votes being one link from one website to another. So if you map this out, it would be similar to the world map. When it's very dark and you turn the lights on, you would see certain hotspots. New York, you would see Tokyo. So similar to websites, you can put it all in a map, visualize it that way, I suppose, and you will see certain websites that stand out, CNN.com, NewYorkTimes.com. Those will be hotspots. So if you can be the hotspot in your industry, that will rank you nationally. And that's a long-term process, but it's one that creates long-term success.
So explain that process. What do you have to do on a daily or a monthly schedule, and how long does it take to be seen as the authority in your area?
Sure. So every industry is different. Law, for example, is probably the most competitive area. And you can gauge this by cost per click and paid advertising. So there's law firms that pay $30 to $40 every time an ad is clicked, for example. Your first 3 results are paid. If you're an e-commerce company, you have Google Shopping, which is that row of products. For service, generally not. But then below all that is the organic listings. And if you type in, let's say, any type of questions regarding a problem you may have that's related to DUI, the website that pops up is usually one that invested into content being maybe an article or a video or an infographic that walks you through the path or the process of the DUI or divorce. And so when you create that type of valuable asset that helps solve your customers' issues, people tend to share it. People tend to link to it. You can boost this through outreach, so you can find a list of related websites and you can develop relationships with them. But it is a long-term process that eventually positions you as the market leader, which gives you a great competitive advantage. So it's definitely worth investing in, although there has to be the right expectations for that too. Generally, national campaigns can take years. You start seeing results about 3 to 6 months. You'll see results that won't be overwhelming. But generally, the first year is your build-up phase. And the second year, you will be positioned pretty well. By the end of second or third year, you will dominate if you make SEO part of your DNA, I suppose.
So it's consistency and just keeping going on creating content, getting links, getting social signals, and back to that blog. Is that why the blog is so important, just to keep extra content going to the site?
Yeah, correct. We have a way of mining the customer's voice. We can find out every single question the customers have, and we do this by using Google Autocomplete, browsing through forums, jumping on question and answer websites, digging through all of that, going into Reddit, going into Facebook groups. So it's a deep dive into your customer. And by the end of it, it takes about a couple of weeks to get this done. By the end of it, you have your right target audience and you know what pain points they have. And now you can answer these pain points and you can maybe develop solutions for them. Something we did for Alien Gear, for example, was develop a concealed carry reciprocity map. If you type in CCW map or concealed carry map, you'll see a map that tells you if you are a concealed carrier, where you can carry in other types of states, so where that reciprocity is. It's a lot of laws surrounding that. So you develop things that are valuable for your customer, and then Google sees this and takes note and rewards you accordingly. So it's a win-win relationship, if you can think of it that way.
Yeah, that's good. So what is different in the SEO for an e-commerce site rather than a local business?
E-commerce, it's very specific, so you have to get into the way of the buyer's journey. How does the customer search for the products? What related products they may have a need for. And then you have to optimize product pages for the types of searches, categories for your plural searches. You have to have the technical optimization right. Your shopping cart, all that needs to be secure. Website needs to be mobile, needs to load very fast when people are shopping. They don't have patience. I think Amazon did a study. It was for every 0.01% of site speed loss, it was about a 1 million loss in revenue. So it's just incredible to think about. And so it's
really, it's one of those really important factors is the site speed. And do most people shop on mobile devices now for e-commerce, or is that more desktop still?
It's been there was a shift last year, I believe. It's more on the mobile side now. Although a lot of people will search in the mobile, and they feel more secure shopping on a desktop experience. So it's important to have a consistent, responsive website that shows the same stuff on your mobile and desktop. And Google released the update this year, the mobile index, which where they're basically just taking the index that's for the mobile traffic, and they're using that as their main index being the library of websites that they have on their database.
So things are really moving away slowly from the desktop to everything being mobile. Is that correct?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's very stark. We can see the desktop die out very soon. It'll be strange.
So what are some of the misconceptions that people have about SEO, whether it's from a local standpoint or whether it's from e-commerce?
From a local standpoint, from smaller businesses, they assume that this is done by their tech guy or their marketing agency. And it's a very specialized field that's more of a process than anything else. It's not a one-time thing. So people think, oh yeah, our website's optimized. Well, things change every month. If you're working with a good SEO agency, they will recommend changes on a monthly basis versus a marketing agency that may deliver a report, but in actuality, nothing's being done. And then they also think people don't know about it, which is also a bit strange. It's been an industry for about 20 years now. And I guess there's also a complexity to it. And so that keeps business owners from investing. It's a big part.
Right. So they don't know enough about SEO to make a decision, or maybe they've been running their business for 10 to 15, 20 years without the help of SEO and don't think they need it. Have you seen this happen to a lot of businesses that haven't relied on the internet? Are they suffering? Are they getting put out of business because they're not taking action on SEO?
Yeah, I think it's like a quicksand effect. It's like a slow death for these companies. They double down on what doesn't work. They don't invest in what works. And then when they see the sales decline, it's a really rough situation because now you have to cut costs, but you don't have the money to invest. And meanwhile, all these new players are beating them basically on these search engines, and they might have a less quality product or an inferior service than this 20-year-old company, but the 20-year-old company is buried, so the phones are not ringing. So these companies just need little tweaks, just a new approach, basically, and a new realization that everything starts online. And traditional sales don't work as well anymore.
Yeah, I like to say you don't have to be the best at what you do, but you have to be the best marketer for what you do, because ultimately, that's what's going to bring you in the business.
That's right.
So, as far as some of the businesses that you have worked with, Ebro, which ones stand out in your mind? How did they come to you? Did they have some major problems? What kind of solutions were you able to put in place for them? And ultimately, what was the outcome for these people?
I like to work with businesses that have basically been in business for a long time. They have validated the product and they want to invest, they want to scale, but they might not necessarily know where the best area to invest in. So these are the types of businesses that I can help a lot. Most of these businesses, they will go for a website redesign. They'll spend 40, 50,000 on a website, and then to see their traffic tanked because SEO wasn't considered. So one of these clients, and I'm a bit hesitant because I didn't run this by them, but if you type in, for example, custom work boots, I have a client that's number one positioned. And they basically make these amazing steel-toe leather boots. And that's a company that was traditionally investing in different channels, but now they're getting very serious about the online space. And they've had a website for a long time, which is very nice. So it really took minor tweaks to a customer deep dive to flush all this out. But a good product, a good service will stand out. And the years of accumulated news and experience and links all feed into this. So if they're serious about digital, I can help them. I don't like to work with startups. Generally, the product is not validated, and I'm not the end-all solution for them. I can help scale and leverage everything, but I can't be the sales team, That's a hard part to get across for startups. So generally, I don't work with them. I do that for my day job. Lift on that with gunbelts.com and olympierholsters.com. It's been phenomenal there. But for startups to have success, I advise to hire somebody internally and really invest into SEO and make that the core of their marketing efforts instead of relying on an agency or that may not get them the results because the product needs to be proven first. The service needs to be proven first.
Right.
Yeah.
So what fears, if any, do you see people have about SEO and, saying yes, signing the contract and going with it? What makes them hesitate? What holds them back?
Sometimes it's SEO takes some time to get going. So it's not overnight deal. It's not like we'll do some SEO this month and then next month you'll see amazing sales. It's a process, and when business owners don't see something work for month 1, month 2, month 3, oftentimes they just jump ship. And that goal is at the end of that 6 months, at the end of that 12 months, that will give them the competitive advantage to basically stand out and dominate. But instead, they claim it doesn't work and they try something else, which is unfortunate.
And once they've committed to invest in their SEO and they've been doing it consistently for 6 to 12 months, is it hard to move that company if they continue to do it?
Oh, not at all. I mean, if the product speaks for itself, if the reviews are there, the quality is there, then search and SEO is almost a catalyst that can just fuel that. But if the product has terrible reviews, if the company has bad ratings and BBB complaints and all kinds of negative stuff, then you can lead traffic there all day, but they won't convert. Another problem is local reviews. For service, for restaurants, you need to pay attention and fix those in order to see the true value of search. Another issue is also the conversion rate optimization. So I've also integrated that into the service. Often websites just aren't optimized to convert a visitor into a customer. They're outdated. They look bad. They might not have all the trust signals. The shopping cart might give issues. The purchase path is not optimal. There's confusion in the process. Stuff like that can hinder the effectiveness of SEO as well.
All right, Ibro, well, that's a lot of great information that you have given us today. If somebody is looking for an SEO service, what kind of questions should they be asking an SEO services company to make sure they're working with the right one?
They should be asking, who have you ranked? They should be asking, do you rank yourself for these types of services? So you need to have a track record, experience, and they should be able to give you a timeline. There should be an audit involved. There should be a lot of interest on the customer side of things. How does your customer search? So if you don't get all of this from your initial discussion and they want to sell you on link building right away or whatever, it may not work. So you really need to flesh out the experience. The proof needs to be there.
Very good. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, Ibro, what is the best way for them to do that?
Best way is to go to the website, SpokaneSEOservices.com. And I have just a field where you can pop in your website address and your email, and that'll send you into our queue. Our SEO specialists go through each site and evaluate them. We reject about 90% of the leads, and it takes about 1 to 2 weeks for us to get back. But we only want to work with companies that are in this for long-term, companies that we know we can help, and we won't take money from anybody who won't see a true gain from SEO.
Right. It takes a deep dive and work on your part and a commitment from you as well as the business owner to really stick with it to see the results. But ultimately, it is worth it in the end, and most of the money is made from SEO as far as people searching. So it is extremely important. Well, Ibro Palik, thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today.
Thank you for having me, Neil.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.